Reality Transurfing. Chapter 5. An Induced Transition. Why does every new generation believe life was better in the past? So many generations have passed since the beginning of human history, and still each one says things used to be better, the world is getting worse. But if that were truly the case, wouldn't we already be living in a kind of hell? Clearly something else is going on. Don't let negative information get to you. It shapes your reality more than you realize. Throughout time, people have said it. Those were the good old days. As we grow older, life seems to dull. We look back and remember, music was better. People were warmer. Dreams were alive. Food tasted richer. The world was more colorful. But is that really the world changing? Or are we simply tuning into a different version of it? Let's look closer. The parties are still fun. The sea is still warm. The movies are still engaging. But something's missing. That something is the spark of presence, the freshness of discovery that fades when we begin to take life for granted. And so people think, life used to be better. But what's really happened is a shift in lifelines. In transurfing, every possible version of reality already exists in the space of variations. There are lifelines where life is rich, joyful, and bright, and lifelines where everything feels faded and bleak. When you radiate negative thoughts, when you complain or feel bitter, you tune into the lifelines that match those emotions. That is the secret behind the feeling that life used to be better. It's not life. It's the lifeline you're currently in. When we're young, we don't judge the world. We don't know what it should be. We simply explore. We hope. We dream. But as we age, misfortunes pile up. Failures, betrayals, frustrations. And we begin to shift focus from hope to complaint. And every complaint is a step deeper into a duller, harder version of life. This is what transurfing reveals. Your thoughts are not shaping reality from scratch. They are choosing which version of it you experience. The more negativity you express, the more negativity you live. Your outer world mirrors your inner frequency. Pendulums, discontent, and the trap of negativity. The worse you think the world is, the worse it becomes for you. As a child, you didn't judge life. You accepted it as it was. There was wonder, curiosity, a deep trust that life would unfold beautifully. But over time, you began to expect disappointment. You started comparing, resenting, complaining. And without realizing it, you shifted. You left the tracks of your youth, those bright, joyful lifelines, and entered ones that matched your growing discontent. It's a harmful paradox. You're unhappy, so you complain. You complain, and life becomes more difficult. You meet more resistance. And your dissatisfaction returns, stronger, louder, like a boomerang. According to transurfing, this happens for three main reasons. First, your discontent creates excess potential. That triggers balancing forces, which push back, trying to restore equilibrium, usually by making things even harder. Second, discontent becomes a feeding channel for pendulums, those invisible energy structures that thrive on emotional energy, especially negativity. They hook into your dissatisfaction and drain your energy while keeping you trapped in a loop of complaint. And third, negative thinking literally shifts you to lifelines that are a match for that vibration. You're no longer living in the same world you were before. You might think this is just aging, that it's normal, but listen carefully. Even now, there are people much older than you who are full of joy, and young people already bitter and broken. Age is not the cause, frequency is. Most people live unconsciously. They don't realize their reactions are creating their reality. An oyster reacts to irritation too, but humans, We have consciousness, the ability to choose how we respond. Yet most people don't use this gift. They respond to every inconvenience with aggression, judgment, complaint. They think it's strength, but it's actually weakness, a sign that you've been caught in the web of pendulums. Now think. You believe life is worse, but the young think life is great. How can both be true? Because each person lives in their own version of the world. We all share the same physical space, but we walk through different layers of the space of variations. That's why the older man says, Coca-Cola used to taste better, even though the formula hasn't changed in decades. It's not the drink that changed, it's the lifeline he moved into. Your world is layered, and with every thought, every feeling, you choose your next layer, your next reality. You can live in joy, or in gray silence, in abundance, or in scarcity, but you must choose consciously. Parallel worlds and the return to color. Let's take a deeper look. You believe we all live in one world, but transurfing shows us something far more powerful. Each of us lives in our own world, our own layer in the space of variations. Yes, we share the same physical planet. We see the same streets, hear the same news, taste the same Coca-Cola. But one person sees joy and opportunity, while another sees only decay and disappointment. The difference? They are tuned to different lifelines. Like radios set to different stations. You might not notice it right away, but the decorations of your world, the mood, the quality, the emotional tone, they all reflect the frequency you radiate. Two people can stand in the same room, but experience completely different realities. One is filled with connection, laughter, love. The other feels isolated, irritated, or bored. It's not the party that changed, it's the sector they're tuned to. Now imagine the Earth with no people on it. Rain still falls, mountains still stand, winds still blow. But without a single conscious being, there's no observer to define the world, no one to bring meaning into it. This is the mystery. Without conscious awareness, the world, at least as we know it, doesn't exist. It's not things that shape your reality, it's your awareness, your thoughts, your focus, your reactions. That's why transurfing says, each person is not just walking through the world, they are creating it, moment by moment. So, why does life feel like it gets worse as we age? Because the average person expresses more dissatisfaction than gratitude, more complaints than hope. That negativity acts like a magnet, pulling them into lifelines of dullness, scarcity, and struggle. They may gain material wealth, but the joy disappears. The colors fade. Yet, this path isn't fixed. You can choose different tracks. You can return to the lifelines of your youth, where life was vivid, exciting, full of wonder. How? By consciously shifting your focus, by rejecting the pendulum's grip, by radiating joy, lightness, and intention. Transurfing teaches us that nothing outside needs to change. What needs to shift is you, your thoughts, your energy, your awareness. And when that happens, your world changes too. So, the next time you hear yourself say, "Things were better back then," stop. Take a deep breath, look around you, and remember, the beauty, the joy, the brightness of life are still here. They never left.